Hey, everybody. Something I wanted to talk about tonight is something that holds so many people back from really obtaining the level of spirituality that they really want to obtain, the level of wholeness that they really want to obtain. And what that is, ironically, is being overly spiritual. A lot of times people don't realize that they think that the spiritual path is an external thing. Okay, so you have to understand that anytime you are making your spiritual walk an external thing, like people think their spiritual walk is their religion or merely, something that they do externally. And that's not the only thing. People have plenty of things that they think that they make their spirituality, into, even if it's just, maybe even putting too much emphasis on crystals and how you behave, acting spiritual, dressing spiritual, talking spiritual, walking spiritual, if that's a thing. Okay. Because if it's a thing, people are doing it. You might not be able to, have too much swag going on if you're spiritual. You know what I mean? You can't be walking with too much flavor if you're spiritual, whatever, all of these external things that you're spiritual because you don't eat this or you do eat that. Okay. It's not what's going into the body that's making it unclean, and it's not what you're putting on. It's not your clothes. It's not the movements of your hands and what you're doing. And it all comes from within. Okay, so this is what the journey is really about. It is really about becoming, being. Okay, being able to rest in your being, in contentment and peace with yourself, inside of yourself. Okay, and that would mean regardless of the external circumstance. So if you look at the most spiritual, things you can see, a good example of something that would be spiritual is like animals and how they can just be. They can just naturally be. They're not making themselves a big fuss, right? They're not making life and everything a big fuss, right? They can just be. And that is what the journey is truly about. Okay, but in order to get to that place, here's the thing. A lot of the mistakes that you would make and the things that you would do, or the non-spiritual things that you would do, they are getting you to the place that you need to be. And see, the world is so polarized into duality that everything is one side or the other. Okay, you're spiritual or not spiritual. You're good or you're evil. They don't understand, you're male or you're female. They don't understand that wholeness and oneness is in a combination of the two. So when you get balanced, the dualities, the polarities should collapse. So what is actually occurring on a bigger level is this universe is all about balance. Okay, it's always seeking balance. That's the reason evil exists. So that's why even in your religions they tell you God created both good and evil, right? Yeah, but why would God create evil? You see what I'm saying? Why would the universe create evil? Why would the other side exist? Because it's necessary. See, people don't understand that. A lot of times we think with such small and finite minds, and we cannot understand the mind of God or the mind of the universe, the mind of source, because we're disconnected. So we don't understand that there's a balance in everything. And without one, the other can't exist. So there comes a point where you have to understand both sides of a thing. Okay, you have to have the energy moving of both sides of a thing until it collapses. It'll balance itself out. And when that happens, that's where the wholeness and the balance comes in at. So the reason a lot of people are not able to ascend and not able to go into a higher level of spirituality is because they cannot embrace and get what they're supposed to get from the other side of the polarity that they're dominant in and that they're operating on. Okay, so they never have that unified field of wholeness where that those dualities and polarities collapse, and then they have unified wholeness. That's what's happening. Okay, so trying to be overly spiritual it doesn't make you more spiritual. It will actually prevent you from walking the true spiritual path, which is the path of your soul. Okay, you have to allow your soul, you have to allow yourself to be where you are, to be free where you are, and to understand that place and evolve out of it, not run away from it. Okay, so if I have, say for instance, I have an addiction, okay, and it's not for me to just stop doing what I'm doing. Okay, it is for me to understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. You see what I'm saying? And to heal the thing that is the reason for the addiction. That's how you truly evolve out of it. Because what happens is, otherwise, you can stop that addiction and pick up another one, which is still better for you to, if you're going to drop meth and become a workaholic, that's probably a good idea. I'm not saying, I'm not ridiculous here. We can make sense. That makes sense. It is good to drop a negative habit for a more positive one that's healthier and more beneficial to you, right? Okay, yes. But you're still not getting to the place that you need to get to spiritually. Because remember, this conversation is about spirituality, right? Okay, so you're still avoiding something. And all of the things that you avoid prevent you from giving what it is you're here to give in the world. Because you won't fully become and embody and be what you are and what you're meant to be. I have a belief that, and it's not even a belief really, honestly, it's a knowing. Every single person here is here to bring a gift. Okay, you have a unique gift. There's something about you. There's something about your flavor, just as unique as your fingerprint is. Okay, there's not another person who's going to have your fingerprint. There's not another person who's going to have your energy signature. There's not another person who's going to have your gift. And the reason we have such an imbalanced world today is because we're missing so many gifts. Because everybody's too busy being told to be the same, and everybody's trying to be politically correct. That people are not unwrapping their gift. Each person is bringing something, and if every person was balanced with themselves and their own unique gift, we would not have an imbalanced world, because somebody would be here giving all the pieces we're missing. We're missing a lot of pieces. We're missing a lot of pieces because we have too many people that are all trying to be alike. And we have too many people that are not evolving the way that they should be evolving. They're not collapsing these dualities. They're operating and arguing their position on one duality or the other. And it's everywhere. It's men against women. It's white against black. Red pill, blue pill. This is imbalance. None of them are right. And all of them are right. Okay? So if you don't take the red pill and the blue pill, take both. Don't take one or the other. Take both. Don't be a man or a woman. Be both. And what I mean by that is embrace both of the energies within you. There are times where I'm going to operate in more of a masculine type of energy, especially when I'm doing business or doing certain things in the world. But then there's other times where I'm going to operate in more of my feminine energy. Okay? And that's a balanced person. A balanced person does not always operate in one thing. So that's what it is. It's about bringing that balance and understanding that opposite polarity. People have to stop trying to be so spiritual. And the world, we have to get to a place where we stop putting this pressure on people to measure up. Because there's this whole thing in society where people are supposed to measure up, right? to a certain level of being without being able to get there, without having permission to get there. So we want everybody to be so on such a high level, highly sophisticated and evolved. But we don't want what it takes for that process to occur, which is not going to look sophisticated at all. But that's the balance. That's how you get there. The only way to is through. And so what happens is when you have people that are skipping that process and then they just want to jump over to, okay, now I'm just holier than thou because I'm just extremely disciplined or I've restricted myself in a certain way. No, we're not talking about restricting yourself in a certain way. You want to get to where it's not in you to do it. You can evolve yourself where that's just not in you to do it anymore. So it's basically like, I don't want you to not be an axe murderer because you didn't have an axe. Like, well, I'm not gonna be an axe murderer because I'm not gonna carry an axe. I'm never gonna touch an axe. I'm just gonna stay away from axes. Okay. No, it would be much better if you could be an axe murderer who has an axe that no longer feels the desire to murder anybody with that axe. You just don't feel it anymore. And that's the process. That's the true spiritual path. Okay, so you're always where you need to be. And you have to make it okay to be where you are if you're ever going to transcend where you are. You have to make it okay to be honest, to be truthful with yourself. Because with all of these strict, things that are out here about telling people how to be, what happens is people, they're not getting it down in here. It's not really a transformation that's occurring. And what we need is more transformation, not more spiritual fad, because that's kind of what it's become. Like, spirituality is becoming a fad now. It's becoming a thing. But it wouldn't be if people were operating in truth, because it's an ugly thing. It's a painful thing. It's a hard thing. It's difficult. It's difficult to get there. So that's just some things that I was kind of thinking about. And I said, what, I'm just going to do a video and actually talk about it, because it was on my mind. So these things are important. And this is a part of my work, and what I do is helping people to bring those polarities in balance so that they can collapse into that unified field of wholeness, oneness, not duality. Oh, guys, and also check out the new website. I'm going to put a link below, but it is also on the community. If you go to, you click on the community aspect of the page, I just did a post with the link. It's truedivinepower.com. Check out the new site. For all of my coaching clients, it's ultimately going to have a members only section where I'm going to put some things there, exclusive content for people that I'm coaching, messages that are coming through for, helping you along the path. And we're going to go a little bit deeper in some of the things that help you to keep yourself balanced in between sessions. That help you to kind of continue to work through what we're working through in the sessions, help you keep your mind focused, if I could talk, okay, help to keep you focused. So that's going to be coming up soon. That's not available on the site right now, but it'll be coming up soon. But check out the new site, guys, and I love and appreciate all of you. Have a good night. Bye.